And I would also like ask Dr. Fareeha, how you teach fiqh to your students. I mean, you chaired this session, but you were not given the chance to speak up about your experience.
Bismillah, assalamu alaikum. Can you guys hear me? So I actually don't imagine myself or look at myself as someone who teaches fiqh, but I think I actually do. So when you ask me, I realize that I do. I actually work in two different capacities. I'm an academic. I was trained in Islamic studies at the University of Michigan in Chicago. So in that arena, I work on Islamic law and the changes in Islamic education in South Asia in the colonial Indian period. But in terms of myself teaching fiqh, the closest thing I do to that is the work I do through something called the Sila Initiative. It's an organization that I've helped found where we work to help today's Muslims embrace the social teachings of Islam by rethinking modern individualism. And so an example of rejecting, basically, critically thinking about and seeing the problems in individualism as a way to allow yourself to embrace the social teachings of Islam. And an example of that, recently I was telling Dr. Marwa about this, where we've just put up one of my articles on our website. It's called the sexual responsibility and the fulfillment of desire. And in this article, what I've tried to do is show what is the concept of desire from a Muslim perspective. What is desire? What is the highest level of desire? How does that relate to what the human being is? And where does the physical and the intimate and the sexual desire come into that picture? And the reason why, and essentially what I do in the piece is I show that the Prophet ﷺ, being the perfect, the best of all creation, he was the one who had the strongest level of desire and the greatest number of wives allowed to him out of his ummah. And yet he was the perfect embodiment of slavehood to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that his acting with sexual responsibility is what shows the believing Muslim what proper sexuality looks like, that is God-directed. And the reason why I did that is because you're always being asked, why does the man have multiple wives? And why is homosexuality not allowed? And why is this, and why is hijab for the woman? And why, and why, and why? And all of these questions, they're looking at very specific masail. But what is the thing that's going to help all of these questions fade away is when you understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you for and where sexuality fits into that. And in the modern period, you can look at the article, it's available free online on our website. The modern, particularly the postmodern way of thinking about the human being, we identify very strongly with our body and that desire. That specifically sexual desire being the thing that is what you are to be identified as. And I feel that that is a real lowering of the status and the stature of what the human being can achieve. So that's one example of how I guess I teach fiqh.